Hi, I'm going to show you how I am doing my heel on these slipper socks. I'm currently working on the pattern for them, but I want to show you how I'm doing the heel in the video because the heel is done a little bit differently than you typically would do for socks. Just in the fact that I'm doing the first part, I wanted the purl pegs to line up. So I am continuing on with the same pattern, and I'm still doing with the wrap and turn, I'm still doing the purl stitches for the first part of it, so that the back side, kind of hard to see here, still lines up instead of just doing it all in knit. I'm also using 13 pegs instead of 12. I'm working on this is a 24 peg 5/8 inch gauge loom. This is from Cindy Wood. It's equivalent to the blue Knifty Knitter loom. Also, Michael's, lots of major retailers carry looms this size, plastic equivalents. I personally just love the Cindy Wood. So, to do the heel, like I said, a lot of times when you're doing slipper socks, you're working on the heel for using just half. But because of the pattern that I'm using, I'm going to be doing 13 pegs because I want them to line up nicely. So I've just finished going around and I've done my last stitch on. This is my last peg right here. And now I'm going to start working on my heel. And I'm going to start working with peg 1. And for this pattern, what I'm doing is I'm going to purl 1 peg, sorry, it's hard for me. I'm purling the first peg, and then I'm knitting 3 using the ewrap knit stitch. I'm purling 1 peg, I'm knitting 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pegs now that we've done. When I get to the 13th peg, I'm going to do a wrap and turn. And if it helps, you can mark your loom, either with a stitch. You can mark it. I like to just sometimes mark with nail polish, but you can also use rubber bands or stitch markers, whatever you find easiest. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now I'm on my 13th peg, and I'm going to wrap and turn. And to wrap and turn, you're lifting the peg, the stitch that is on the peg off. You're bringing your yarn from behind. You're working yarn behind the peg to the front and placing your yarn back on that you had removed. And now I'm going to continue, and I'm just continuing the same pattern I had been doing previously for the most part for these slipper socks. So I'm doing a knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, And then when we get to our first peg in the row, we're going to wrap and turn. So here's peg 1. We're going to lift off that stitch that's on the loom, bring the working yarn from behind to the front, place the stitch back on, and then we're going to continue on, and we're going to knit 3, and this is a short row shaping for a heel. Purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, oops, now you're going to do this up until you have your wrap and turn on peg 13. We want to wrap and turn now on peg 12. So we're going to knit 2, and then we're going to wrap and turn on peg 12. Lifting the loop off, bringing the working yarn. Now we're going to go back and work until we get to peg 2, and we're going to wrap and turn. And we're going to keep doing that, making sure that the stitches that we had purled, we continue to purl when we go back and forth. One thing else I want to note is that I find when you're using ewrap stitches and you're going back and forth, they don't always line up. So to help fix this, you can use a half hitch or a reverse ewrap. And to do that, going back the other way, you take your yarn, so it's like that, and you twist it so that now you're going to have a loop like that. The yarn is going underneath, and that loop you're going to put on to peg 11 and knit off. Now if you don't mind that it doesn't always look exact, feel free to just keep using the ewrap like you're used to. But this gives it a little bit of a more even, so you can't necessarily see, like as you see here, the stitches line up better. So again, you're just taking your yarn, and I just twist it, and then after you twist it so that the working yarn is now coming from below, I'll see if I can, so you can see here, the working yarn is underneath. Knit off. Twist it. Oh, and I think and see here I messed up. I knit over my wrap and turn. So I'm just going to go back, sorry about that, and undo my stitches. And fix that. Okay, see, I want to leave this so that there's two loops on. So I'm going to start with this peg here, and I'm going to twist it, doing the reverse knit. And I have a separate video that I will post a link to as well that shows you a little bit more detailed how to do the reverse knit. So see, I have 2 stitches on here, reverse knit. Three. And purl one. I'm going to reverse ewrap, and now I have two and peg two. I'm going to do my wrap and turn on. And now I'm ready to start working the other way. I'm going to knit two, so that's how the pattern's been going. This stitch I'm going to purl, knit three, purl one. Now I'm going to knit one, and I'm going to wrap and turn, and this will be peg 11. So I've wrapped and turned peg 13, 12, and now I'm wrapping and turning peg 11, and I'm ready to start my next, going back, and I'm doing a knit one, purl one, I'm going to reverse knit, three, and like I said, if you don't mind it not looking, this just gives it a little bit of a cleaner look. If the reverse knit's too hard for you, go ahead and just use a regular ewrap. It's really not. This is just going to give it a little bit more of a professional. Purl one, we're going to reverse knit one, or ewrap one, or reverse ewrap, either. And now we're going to wrap and turn, lifting the stitch off, pulling the working yarn behind into the front. Now we're going to do an ewrap, knit one. So we have two stitches on peg 1, 2, and 3, purl one, knit 3, purl one, and this is going to be a reverse, or a wrap and turn on peg 10. And when we're done with this part of the short row shaping, you're going to have 4 wrap and turns on each side. So now we're coming back. We're going to be doing a purl, one, a knit 3, and I'm using the reverse ewrap again, like I mentioned. Purl one, and wrap and turn on peg 4. So now we've decreased down, we have 4 pegs. Pegs 1, 2, 3, and 4 both have 2 stitches on them. And pegs 10, 11, 12, and 13 as well have 2 stitches on them. And we're ready to start the next part. Okay, so after we've done our wrap and turn on peg 4, we're going to start the next portion, and we're no longer going to be following, because this is going to be the bottom portion of your heel. I'm no longer going to be following where I'm going to be purling. I'm just going to be using all knit stitches for the rest of the heel portion. So we're going to now, we wrapped and turned peg 4. We're going to knit pegs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure to leave that wrap and turn on. So we're knitting pegs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And 10 has a wrap and turn on it, and we're going to lift both stitches, both of those 2 stitches that were on the bottom, up over the top stitch. And now we're going to wrap and turn peg 11. We're going to lift both of the stitches that are on the loom off, bring the working yarn behind, and place them back on. Make sure that you get them both back on. And so now we have 3 stitches on there. And now we're going to go back and we're going to knit. And I'm using the reverse ewrap or half hitch stitch. We're going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to knit. This is our 7th stitch. This is going to be on peg 4. There's 2 stitches. I'm going to bring 2 over 1 on peg 4, and then we're going to wrap and turn on peg 3, taking both of those stitches that were on the loom off, bringing the working yarn round and in front. Now we're going to knit pegs 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and peg 11, which has 3 stitches on it. And we're going to bring 3 up over the top one. And now we're going to wrap and turn peg 12, taking both of the stitches. There's 2 stitches on there, bringing them off the loom, doing the wrap and turn. Make sure you get both stitches back on. And now we work back the other direction, and I'm doing the reverse knit on peg 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're going to knit peg 3 that has 3 loops on it, bringing the bottom 3 up over the top one, and then we're going to wrap and turn peg 1. Now we're ready to work back the other way. And I'm going to knit pegs 3 to 12. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 to 12, pigs 3 to pig 12, and there's 3 stitches on pig 12. We're bringing the 3 up over the top of the 1. Now we're going to wrap and turn on pig 13, and then we're going to move back, knitting pigs 12, going all the way back to pig 2. In the pig 2, we're bringing 3 loops up over the top, and now we're going to wrap and turn on pig 1, taking the 2 stitches that were off, bring the yarn behind. Now we're going to knit pigs 2 to 13. So here's pig 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're bringing 3 over 1. We're going to wrap and turn on pig 14. And this step is going to help minimize any holes that we're going to have. And then we're going to work back, again, knitting to pig 1. So we wrapped and turned on pig 14. So we knit pig 13, 12, knit pig 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, I probably lost track there. Going back to the last pig, the first pig in the row here, well, last pig, not, oh, but pig 1. And that has 3 loops on it. And we're going to knit that, bringing all 3 stitches up over 1. And now we're going to wrap and turn. This would be pig 24. now we're ready to start working back into the round. And we've got our heel shape right there. Before we go back joining into the round, I'm going to show you a tip that I picked up from another video, and this helps to reinforce the toe, or reinforce the heel. And what you want to do, the last stitch on the adjacent peg's 24, so we're going to go to peg 24. The last stitch that we did here, which is right here, we're going to pick that up and we're going to place that onto peg 1. Let's try to zoom in. So you just look down. Here was you want to pick up the stitch that's just below the stitch here that's on the loom and place it on. And you want to do the same thing, the stitch on peg 14. You want to pick up the last stitch that we did. So we're going to go, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and this is the peg stitch that we had wrapped and turned. You're going to find that last stitch that we did. And you're going to lift it up. I don't know if you can see that, but you just kind of follow down. So here's one stitch, the stitch before, and we're going to place that on peg 13. Now if you want, prior to starting the reinforcing, prior to doing the heel, short row heel shaping, you could put like a stitch marker on that to help you keep track, and that's just going to help so that there's not as many holes and to reinforce it. And so now you're ready to start working in the round again for the body portion of your foot bed, and you have 2 wraps on pegs 24 and peg 1 and 2 wraps on peg 14 and 13. So now we're going to begin working back into the round. For this pattern, my first peg I'm going to purl, and there's 2 stitches on here. I'm going to treat them both as one, and anytime we run into a peg that has 2 stitches on them, we're going to treat them as if they're one. So we're going to purl, and now we're going to knit 12, or knit pegs 2 to 12. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Peg 13 we're going to purl. And now we're continuing this purl one, and we're going to do a knit 3. And they see there's 2 stitches on here. We're going to treat them as if they're one. So we're going to knit 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to purl 1. We're going to knit 1, 2, 3. We're going to purl 1. We're going to knit 1, 2, 3. So that's the first row after we've completed the heel and joined to work in the round. And we're just going to continue on following the pattern for these slipper socks. And as you can see, you have your heel portion is completed. And we're going to continue on working the pattern for the slipper socks. And that'll start, we're going in the round. And we're doing, purl 1 and just following along, doing row by row, keeping track of our rows with whatever method we find easiest for us. But that has your heel completed. And you're ready to go on. Hope that helps. Thanks for joining me. Happy looming.